Alright everyone, so there's another little bug which is caused by the same change that we've made. So because we now have to make sure that all the creatures stay on their levels, we've got to find all the places where they might just creep over to somebody else's level without us noticing, or they might just continue when they're not supposed to. So I'm going to advance to the monster level. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, the monsters finished me off. So now if I press any key to start, listen to that.
Yum yum.
The thudding is continuing after the game has ended. Okay, so we need to stop that. So the first thing we need to know is why is that happening? And it's caused by the monster's celebration routine. So after the monster wins, it celebrates by just walking to the edge of the screen. And if you look at the code for that, it says repeat until you've either walked off the screen to the left or you've walked it off to the right. And then repeat what? Well, just keep taking one step. So just keep taking one step until you've walked off the side of the screen. Now, what happens if I start a new game is it's still walking off the side of the screen. So we have to fix that. Why didn't we notice it before? Well, we didn't notice it before because when the new game started, up until now, we've only been dealing with one opponent at a time. So if we had it set to monster, then when the new game started and the monster came on, he would be thudding anyway. So we didn't notice that the thudding from the previous game has continued because, hey, it's supposed to continue. But now that when you start a new game, it's supposed to be the ghost, we notice that the monster's still thudding. So that's why we've noticed it now. Okay, so how do we fix it? Well, it's actually quite straightforward. What we've got to write here is instead of repeat until you walk off the side of the screen, it should be repeat until either you walk off the side of the screen or it's not your turn anymore. So we need to build something to say that it's not your turn. So we'll take a not and an equals. And this is the same thing that we did in previous videos, not level, we want current enemy. So if it's not the case that the current enemy equals monster, that means it's not your turn. And so then we need an or. And this thing that we're building here is going to be quite long, but it's quite simple to understand. We're going to say repeat until either it's not your turn or you reach the edge of the screen. So we stick all of this in the second slot here. Either it's not your turn or you walk off the edge of the screen, and then we just drop this whole big thing in here. And that ought to work. So we'll test it.
Yum yum.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So it stopped. The thudding stopped, but it didn't stop quite quick enough. It kind of continued through the level transition, and then it only stopped when the game actually got going and when the ghost appeared. So that's not quite soon enough for my liking. Why is that happening? Well, because what's happening is this says keep taking your steps until it's not your turn. Which means it kind of keeps taking its steps well into the next game until the ghost takes over. Then it's not its turn anymore. So I want it to realize that it's not its turn a little bit earlier than that. So what I want you to do is go to start game. And when any key pressed, if the game's long over, set the game, so it's ready to start again, set the game to not over. And then we're just going to add something to that says set current enemy to And I'm just going to leave that at 0 there. It doesn't matter what we put there as long as it's not one of these. So basically, when the game starts, the current enemy isn't anything. And don't worry, the ghost will get filled in when the level kicks in. It will provide the ghost. It will overwrite this. But for the moment, as soon as the game starts, I want it to stop being the monster whose turn it is. So this is going to immediately say it's nobody's turn until we get going. So let's play test that.
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, it just does one thud. It does one last thud and then it stops, which is much better than it was before, but it's still not good enough. So why is it doing just one thud? So the issue is, I think, in this code here, which says just take one step. If you notice right at the beginning here, there's a wait, and that's probably causing the problem. So this wait is to make sure there's a gap between thuds, so that it doesn't take another thud immediately after taking the previous thud. Well, it doesn't really matter whether that wait goes at the beginning or the end. It doesn't really matter whether you go wait, thud, wait, thud, wait, thud, or whether you go thud, wait, thud, wait, thud, wait. You're going to get the same effect. But if we put the wait at the end, then I think that's going to mean that it doesn't do that last thud. It doesn't, because what's happening at the moment is, so if the wait's up here, you start a new game, it's in the middle of the wait, and then it does its thud, and only then later does it find out, oh, I shouldn't be thudding anymore. But if we do it this way, then what'll happen is, if it's in the middle of a wait, and then we end the game, it won't start, then you take one step. So, I think that's going to make it better. Let's play test it.
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, that sounds better. Yeah, we didn't get that last third. So that's great. So we'll leave it there, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for listening, and if you find this video useful, please hit like and subscribe.